This is James with Monotalk. It is May 17th, 2025. Just same old craziness. It's Trump against the machine. And if you haven't been paying attention, which most of you haven't, the guy's trying. He's doing whatever he can. I think he's a little too trusting with some people, or maybe he's just feeling people out right now. Because remember, he just finished his 100 days. We're about 130 now, 140. So the guy's still moving and grooving. There's a lot that needs to be done. There was a lot that was destroyed, stolen, fraudulently, everything. Relationships with countries, wars that were happening and starting. I mean, there's a lot of damage to repair. Inflation, all kinds of things. The other day, I would say 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, I was shopping for eggs and they were about $6. Now they're $3.47 at the Aldi's down the street. But of course, the Demoncratic Party, and I say Democrat because the people that lead the Democratic Party, or the leaders, supposed leaders, are seriously satanic at times. They're just crazy, just nuts. It's kind of hard to explain, but it takes time to understand it. It's a party that has just become craziness. Like, for example, here, I'm going to play this here real quick for you. This is the, where is it? Here it is, right there. I'm going to play this for you. This is the Trans Pride celebrated in Washington, D.C. I guess they were on the lawn, which is a public place. They can, and I'm sure they got a permit and set up and everything. That's good. But there's nobody here. There's like 5 people. It's just, anyway, I don't know what the beds are for. I'm a little concerned about that. Right? Just, you don't want to see children here. You don't. You just don't. And you just got to watch. You just got to watch.
For those of us who stay and fight in places where leaving isn't an option, we dig deep. In Louisiana, we organize and we build block by block. We show up for each other when systems don't. We cook for each other, and until you've had a pot of red beans cooked by me, I don't think you've had some yet. But we celebrate each other, no matter how small our wins. We build joy in the cracks of a system that wants to break us.
Ooh.
And that is what resilience
Joy in the cracks. Joy in the cracks.
People like to talk about oppression and how it's worked and how genocide is worked. But while these systems may be at work, they will not work, and they are not working, because as long as we are here, that is proof and evident that they will never work.
Right.
And so I say this to every trans person fighting to be free: you are not alone. To those who choose to be visible,
all 0.0004% of you
who choose to be unseen, to those we know, to those we may never meet, we are here for you. You are powerful, you are loved, and you are already enough. We are not just demanding freedom. We are living, breathing, walking proof that a better world is not only possible, it's already in motion. Thank you so much for having me, ACLU, and I'm so honored to represent
ACLU.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce an amazing artist,
Oh.
artivist, and activist, my sister,
artivist.
the icon, Shia Diamond.
Sister.
When I say freedom, you say freedom to be. Freedom. Freedom. Freedom.
Ooh, whoa.
Freedom. Freedom. Now, 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 now.
No.
Now, now,
No,
now,
no, no.
now, now. Now, 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 now. Now, 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 now. There's an outcast in every...
Okay. What else we got here? Oh, here we go. Let's check this one.
This was quite honestly invasive. It was humiliating and frightening. And that's why this case matters, because it's more than just about documents or us plaintiffs. It's about the freedom
the canceling of all medical debt.
Tied to our fight for reproductive justice. It's about our fundamental right to make decisions about our own bodies, free from government.
I find so beautiful about this monument.
Creativity. The grass that we're standing on belongs to...
I gotta say this. I just gotta say this. You can make your voice sound womanly, female-ish, or, you know, girlish, but it doesn't. It sounds. It's like it's cross-dressing. You're cross-dressing. You're trying to be something. It just It's just crazy, and you're not. I mean, not that you're trying to hide anything. I get it. You know, get out there and be what you want. It's just as soon as you open your mouth, you're a dude. You know you're dangling. We already know that, and whatever the fucking your deal is, it's just, it's just crazy. I don't really see this really going yet. I don't even know why I'm fucking doing this. I just think it's just, you got to give them their time. I get it. I understand, but some of it is mental health. I'm not saying all of it. No fucking way. But what I am saying is, maybe there's some situations in life that kind of push them in this direction, or maybe they were groomed, which happens a lot. This is very constant, and sometimes, and I do believe that there are people out there that are gay or lesbian that want to, and bisexual, whatever you want to do, experiment, play around, do whatever you want. And like I always say, just keep it away from the kids, for fuck's sakes. It's, and I'm not laughing at these people. I just think it's just, don't we have other things we need to fucking worry about? Right? You want to kill fetuses and, just be able to, I don't know, man. Look, Trump was all about 15 weeks. And if you don't know what the fuck you want to do in 15 weeks, then maybe you shouldn't have a kid at all. I mean, look, I've been through a few of these circumstances of kids and labor and all this other stuff, and on many different sides, and however it happens and doesn't happen. And I'm going to tell you, I don't believe that the nutrition is there for people. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just going to let you know. I just, and everybody's played. I've played. Everybody's done some whatever they want to do. That's fine. I'm not. What I'm saying is, how important is life, right? At a certain point of our species, how important is it? I mean, I think it's important. I think the health of us, the well-being of us, our mental aptitude. There's just so many things. And when you're eating poison and you're drinking chemicals and fluoride, I mean, just go to ewg.org and go to the water data list and put in your zip code, and you're going to freak out. I mean, Anaheim, California has like 34 contaminants, chemical contaminants, and some of them are at levels, and this is like the happiest place on earth next to Disneyland. It's the worst. I'm glad out here the water's great, and it's kind of, it's interesting because people out here seem real. They seem nice. They seem decent. Haven't had an issue with anybody, and people speak, pretty monotone and controlled and respectful. There's no attitude or, and they all are grateful. And it just seems like they seem like they've been fed well. That's it. That's what I want to say. Now, if you're eating stuff out of some of the hospitals and prisons and even some of the schools, I don't know about that. But if you're cooking at home and you're making, venison, or you're making just prime rib, or you're cooking chicken, or you're making fish, or bass, or catfish, or bluegill, or whatever you're cooking out there, more power to you. Right? More power to you. You're eating fresh, you're kind of getting in that Amish zone. It just seems like good people. Okay, cool. All right, I'll let you know. Just let me know when you're ready. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you. Yeah, I get what you want to do and what you want to experiment with and what you want to play around with. I get it. I totally get that. I think that's completely understandable. Right? But when it comes down to it, what do you really want? Right? What are you really trying to accomplish? What is the purpose? What is your purpose? My purpose is my kids, and I want them to be sane as much as possible. Or, they're going to make mistakes, they're going to dabble, they're going to do this. I get it's part of growing up. Right? But I am that influencer while they're growing up. And I dictate their foundation. I am the base, or not just me, the mom, the parents, I want to say, sorry, the parents. Definitely. And that's the male and the female. And there is no, it's like if there's a trans mom out there, I'm just trying to understand how confusing that is to a child. Right? It's just, fuck it. I'm not a kid. There are two genders. Right? If you want to believe in your mythical unicorn world that there's more than two, then you need to ask yourself, how did you get here? Did you come out of the butt of some dude? No, you came out of your mom because the reality of your dad fertilized with his sperm to make you. That's it. That's it. Done. Now, if you want to grow up and you want to be a cross-dresser, or you want to down and play around, enjoy. Have fun. Just keep it the fuck away from the kids. All right. There's this. There is a really great. I think they're just fantastic. There's some old gals, but it's called Promethean updates, right? Now, Promethean updates are just, these gals are just so spot on so much, right? They've been following Trump for a long time. They get what he's been trying to do. Now he's finally doing it, and people are just freaking out about it. People are just freaking out. Okay, so just letting you know, so I'm going to do this about Prometheus. I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back. Just letting you know. I'm taking care of something in the kitchen. But you got to listen to the way they do what they do. They do it very well. And this is where I was watching the gathering of the minds of some seriously amazing journalists. Derek Brose, Ryan Christian, Whitney Webb, Steve was on there. Somebody else I don't remember. There's a few others that I paid attention to for a long time, and I thought it was great. And then I go and I watch the Humanist Report and some other guy, the Canadian dude, and they're just fucking lunatics. You can see it, you can sense it. I'm trying to, whatever they're talking about just is nonsensical. Watching the progressive liberal movement and what they have as far as their influencers and content creators, it just seems really fucking wacko. Like, I don't know, Looney Tunes. But when I'm watching Republicans as well, and you're getting a side, I get it. But then these ladies here, they've been through it all. They're boomers. They're just like, you know what? We know what the fuck is going on, and this is what the fuck is going on. So I'm gonna play her. Oh, that sounds strange. All right. By the way, what the fuck happened? Theo, I gotta just say this. Theo Vaughn comes on, does a great performance out there in Qatar, right? Does a great performance. And the problem is, this is the only shot we have of his entire performance. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And whoever set that up is an idiot. If there's somebody that has a video or knows of the entire video where you can see his expressions and actually see him not fucking 50 yards away, that's awesome, because the guy fucking kicked ass. I know that. All right, let's get to that video. I'm just like, fucking dude, it's your moment. Theo Vaughn, you've got to fucking try to get better coverage. When you come and do something like this, get better coverage, bro. Get better coverage. All right. Who else we got? Where is she? Maybe it's right here. Nope, it's not right there. There it is. There. All right. Let's make sure you can see her. She looks like my mom. I swear, my mom is almost could be a sister with her. She looks exactly like my mom, like almost identical. It's just my mom's in a totally different political place, and there's not. I just influenced by my sister, who's a Madoff fan. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, let me get to here.
They love to call Donald Trump an oligarch, don't they? There he was in Saudi Arabia hanging out with princes and kings and billionaires. There he is accepting a luxury jet from Qatar. The other day I saw a billboard on the highway going into Detroit that said, "Stop the plutocrats." And of course the demonstrators even compare him to Adolf Hitler. But if you're watching this, you know that is crap. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. came out and said it in the most uncertain terms in the Oval Office on Monday, when he praised Donald Trump's historic actions to slash prescription drug costs. He attacked Democratic mouthpieces like Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich, who are saying that President Trump is on the side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs than Donald Trump. And I'm very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage. But remarks from RFK Jr. are not going to stop the narrative. And the narrative is that Trump and his wealthy supporters are the problem. But the real oligarchs, the ones truly pulling the strings and profiting from the existing financial system and from global chaos, are the very people who are pointing the finger. At Promethean Act,
I always say, the Demoncratic Party, or the Democratic Party, they are the pot calling the kettle black party. Every time they point, there's a finger pointing right back at them. These guys, and I've proved it over and over and over again. They're just, and nobody gets it. You're watching Rachel Maddow, you're watching CNN, you're watching The View, whatever the fuck you're being hypnotized by. You're not going to get it. Unless you watch people like me or like her that have been around the block, have been studying the politics thoroughly and extensively, doing our due diligence, questioning authority and its sources at every turn, chickadee, checking ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Let her continue. I'm just saying, it's the Democratic Party is the pot calling the kettle black at every fucking turn, every narrative, every talking point. It's always the same. It's always the same.
action, we've been tracking their networks, their funding, and their tactics for decades. I'm Susan Kokinda, and this midweek update is going to expose who these real oligarchs are, and how their primary means of control is shaping the way you think. How President Trump is challenging their system with strategic and economic policies that are unprecedented in our lifetimes. And most critically, what you need to understand to help win the battle for America in 2026. So, who are the real oligarchs? It's not just rich people. The term oligarchy comes from ancient Greece, and it means rule of the few. And throughout history, those few have ruled through war, money, and ideological control.
I'm gonna pause it here because I'm gonna just let it run because I really want everybody to listen to this entire thing. These women and this group of people, they have 70,000 plus subscribers. I recommend everybody watching them. They don't spin up the propaganda. They don't spin out the theater of it. They keep it simple. They're sane. They just get out the information. They don't try to hyperbole it or spin it every way, but they are telling, basically, in my opinion, from what I've researched of what they've produced, and I've researched before I brought them on tonight. I wanted to, and I'd like to talk to them in the future, by the way. I've checked all their leads. I've checked all their talking points. I've checked basically most of the stuff, not all, most of it that they display or whatever of what their content is. And I'm telling you, they're pretty spot on. I'll just let it keep playing.
Those few are the global financier elite, which since around the time of the American Revolution could be found in the institutions of the Anglo-Dutch imperial system. Today, they are deeply intertwined with British intelligence and its subsets in the United States. George Soros is the poster child. His propaganda training and financial power comes from Britain. But it goes much deeper. The oligarchy operates through a complex web of private equity funds, tax-exempt foundations, 501c3s, 501c4s, all meticulously designed to profile, manipulate, and control public opinion in America and worldwide. And what they do is they obscure the real battle lines. They propagate ideologies that divide us. On the left, it's the hyper-individualistic.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I can be any sex or species I want, which is obviously detached from reality. And on the right, it takes the Adam Smith-inspired form of, I'll make a profit any way I want, even if it means gutting our industries and shipping jobs overseas. Both extremes are weaponized to sabotage President Trump's American system resurgence and the idea of a unified, productive nation. And it's not just the Democrats. Trump has to fight a libertarian-infected faction in the Republican Party, including those who fought him on raising the debt ceiling, which did have to be done in the short term so we can begin to grow our way out of the crisis. Or the Heritage Foundation influenced congressmen who are always pushing cuts to programs like Medicaid that right now millions of working class MAGA families actually rely on. As Republican Senator Josh Hawley himself warned in a New York Times op-ed, these are the kinds of conservative actions that could lose the 2026 election for Trump. These different factions are prime examples of how underlying British system contaminated ideologies serve the real oligarchs. The real oligarchs include Big Pharma, Big Tech, the military-industrial complex, Big Ag, the central banks, with their deep state connections, their control over media narratives, and their vast financial resources. So how can President Trump actually take them on? Well, he has two things going for him. He has, as RFK Jr. said, quote, the intestinal fortitude, the stiff spine, and the courage to stand up for the American people. But he also has a grand strategy, which isn't always obvious if you're trapped in the day-to-day news cycle. He's strategically hitting them where it hurts. And that's where you come in and where you have to think more and more like Donald Trump. He knows where he's going. He thinks like a general. He has a core team executing his policies. And he needs you to stop reacting to every blip on social media and to get off of the enemy's territory and force them onto ours. That's how we at Promethean Action have been fighting for decades, and that's why you should join our fight by subscribing, or better yet, becoming a supporting member. President Trump is directly challenging the globalist system itself. How? By fostering real physical production here in the United States, promoting economic nationalism, and forging direct relations with other countries, bypassing or dismantling institutions and policies which serve the global oligarchs. So consider President Trump's groundbreaking trip to the Mideast, which is ongoing as we broadcast. The mainstream media immediately paints a picture of hobnobbing with oligarchs. But what really happened? As Trump himself highlighted, he was celebrating the 80-year partnership with Saudi Arabia that began when President Franklin Roosevelt met with King Abdulaziz aboard the U.S. Quincy in 1945 without the British. That meeting infuriated Winston Churchill and the British Empire, which was determined to keep the region as a perpetual cockpit for war under their thumb, and which unfortunately until now they have pretty much succeeded in doing. In his speech in Saudi Arabia, President Trump directly took on the consequences of that British strategy. You've seen it in the form of the neocon regime change policies of recent decades, policies pushed by both Democratic and Republican presidents and Congress. Trump lauded the new generation of leaders who are transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past. And he made the point that this great transition away from chaos and war has, quote, come not from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving lectures on how to live and how to govern your affairs. He received a spontaneous standing ovation for announcing that the U.S. is ending the devastating sanctions against Syria, a direct blow to the Western interventionist policies that have destroyed that nation. These last several days have seen other extraordinary actions in kicking over the oligarchs' geopolitical chessboard, with President Trump's personal interventions into resolving the Russia-Ukraine, India-Pakistan, and Iran conflicts, not to mention his growing rift with the perpetual war hawk Bibi Netanyahu. Those are all works in progress, but the oligarchs are scrambling to somehow keep their footing in a world where sovereign nations are once again the principal players. And look at the economic side of this trip. Trump announced historic deals, including two $5 billion investment funds covering energy and aerospace and defense. This is keeping with other actions he's taken in creating new channels to fund capital directly into American industries. This is a clear end run around the Federal Reserve and Wall Street's chokehold on our domestic economy. While Trump verbally spars with the Fed's Jerome Powell, he's quietly setting up alternate capabilities to finance domestic production, not to mention the sotto voce discussions of a new Bretton Woods, which would replace the post-1971 globalist-run financial system. So this battle is monumental, and the stakes couldn't be higher as we look toward the crucial 2026 midterm elections, which are absolutely life and death for the continuation of Donald Trump's presidency. The enemy will stop at nothing in their attempt to crush this movement. If they regain full control of Congress, they will undoubtedly try to impeach him or even jail him and anybody else who stands with him. Now, you might look at the current disarray in the Democratic Party and say, we have it in the bag. Their national approval rating is in the low 20s. They're plagued by vicious infighting. The new woke Democratic National Committee vice chair has set up a PAC to primary other Democrats, and there are now moves to oust him. In Michigan, squad member Rashida Tlaib is backing a primary opponent to the incumbent Detroit Democrat. Nominal leaders like Gavin Newsom seem to be having an identity crisis, suddenly warning that Bay Area progressivism isn't the future for the party. And the popular mayor of Detroit is running for governor as an independent because he knows the Democratic Party brand is toxic. Seeing all this, it might be dangerously easy to become complacent. Frankly, it looks like we're beating up on an invalid. But that's a dangerous illusion. The real problem, the real threat to victory in 2026, has little to do with the visible chaos in the Democrat Party. Because the real battle lines are not Democrat versus Republican. It's the sophisticated, often hidden, full spectrum information warfare that's run by British intelligence on behalf of maintaining their system. And that will crescendo against voters as we get closer to 2026. So, how do we as the American people effectively fight back? It's by recognizing that the real fight is between Trump's economic nationalism and the entrenched financier elite. It begins by understanding their ultimate ideological weakness and by recognizing and reclaiming our true American identity. As I said earlier, oligarchy means rule of the few. And for these modern few, there are no universal principles. They reject those principles as enshrined in our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. In fact, they label any assertion of such universal principles, principles which recognize the creative potential of every human being, as authoritarian. When you scratch the surface of the claims that Trump is a Nazi or a Hitler, it goes back to this Frankfurt School propagated definition of authoritarianism. So, absent universal principles, they want you to believe that you're merely a collection of appetites, a consumer to be manipulated, or a member of an aggrieved identity group pitted against your fellow citizens. They promote ideologies of hedonism, whether it's monetary or in physical forms, and identities such as perpetual victim or isolated individuals. That's how they divide and conquer. But there are universal principles, and we are a republic, founded on the principle that we are beholden to universal truths. And that's where our power over oligarchy resides. Donald Trump has an uncanny, almost instinctive understanding of this. Now, how much is instinctive and how much is conscious? Well, he's a master negotiator, so we may never fully know. The form this understanding most visibly takes right now is in the rebirth of the American productive identity, an identity rooted in our capacity to discover new principles, to put.
Yeah, thank you. So I turned off my mic because I was doing some things. But anyway, thank you for letting me know. Yeah, good stuff. I'm kind of reading it out. I didn't read it out loud because you didn't hear it, but people can read it. I have it. The reason why I have the chat list also in the video is so that people have a voice. So if you come on and you know, if you're saying stuff that's slanderous or idiotic or, you know, whatever, and maybe you're going to try to hurt my feelings or something, then I might give you a little time. But if it's just senseless, I'm probably just going to block you or something like that. But you've got some good points. There's so much, man. I'm telling you, there's a lot of repair work that we need, not just in this country, not just in your state, your city, town, community, your state, your county, you know, the country, but the world. I mean, there are poisons everywhere, whether it's food, water, sound, light. I mean, they want to dim the lights, for God's sakes, you know. This is like really a gigantic topic for Bill Gates. I mean, there's so much craziness. But I think that Trump is getting to what seems to be what Jimmy Dore keeps talking about, which I'm not going off of him. I'm just saying it's what he's starting to realize, is that Trump's his purpose is becoming, it's starting to become more recognizable. In other words, like she's saying, and that's why I played Prometheus, great podcast or YouTube channel. They're spelling it out for you, but a lot of people aren't getting it. I've gotten it for a while now. I mean, I think it was it really hit home in 2020 when I started to, I've started questioning both parties seriously back in 2016, 2017. But in the 2019, 2020 is when it's really started to hit home that, wait, why are they trying to get rid of this guy who they praised and loved? He was on The View. He was on late night talk shows. He was The Apprentice, 12 fucking seasons. He was kicking ass. He was all this stuff. And then as soon as he put his name in the hat to run for president, all of a sudden, he's the evilest man on the planet. He's Hitler. He's all this shit. And I'm just like, where did all this come from? Why? So I started questioning the media, which you should always do. And then I started questioning authority at its source at every turn, which I pretty much always do. But I started digging deeper that this guy's the maverick. They can't control him, and that's where a lot of people on both sides are concerned about. And I'm hearing this a lot. I'm hearing this a lot from people like Derek Brose. I'm hearing this from Ryan Christian. I'm hearing this from Whitney Webb, that he's part of the oligarchy, that he's part of the system. And it doesn't really seem that way. It doesn't. It's just the actual mechanics, right, of the machine. It's Trump against the machine. Let's use this analogy. Since we're talking about machines, and your machine is running well, and you're the oligarchs, you're the NGOs, you're the Bill Gates, you're the Klaus Schwabs, you're the George Soroses or whatever, and you're just, you're firing all cylinders. It's 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 24, and then all of a sudden there's this uprise, but there's this one fucking dude that you're really concerned about that's going to stop your agenda, your end game. And I've spoken about their end game. And I keep telling everybody the end game, and there's no other conclusion. There's no other conclusion. The end game of the oligarchs, the actual oligarchs, possibly, I'm sure definitely connected to the British. And there's several, I'm sure there's other countries as well that are in on it. Right? Whoever attended, what was that, Event 201 in 2019, I'm sure whoever took that, and I mentioned, I think, in early 2020, that there was this giant exodus of just CEOs and presidents of companies leaving towards the end of the year of 2019 at record pace. It was just a plethora of just an astronomical amount of what I believed these people that didn't want to go with the plan. They didn't want to be a part of their end game. They saw Event 201, just like Atlantic Storm, just like all of these other past proposals. And some of them said they're going to do it, and I think they had enough people to do it. But their end game, and this is the part that people have the hardest time understanding, is these oligarchs, the real oligarchs out there, they've decided that they don't want to travel, they don't want to go to a distant planet, they don't want Elon Musk. They definitely don't want Elon Musk. They want to keep what they have, and what they have is total and absolute control over most of the world, most of the governments. And the only way they can do that, to make sure they can ensure that, is you're in the way. When Trump said, I don't know, a year ago, I think it was, or a year or so ago, he goes, "They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way." He understood that these handful of fucking people that are actually pulling the strings, and I'm sorry it's not Obama, and it's not Klaus Schwab. I think he's the front man, just like Obama was the front man, and Joe Biden was pretty much just, I don't even know what he was doing. And Jill is probably pulling most of the strings. I'm just saying. The thing is they don't need you anymore. If they're able to keep getting money from Ukraine wars and this war and that pandemic and this pandemic and this and that and any chaotic theater that they create, basically, any theater that they can create, which they do. What was that movie with George Clooney? Oh God, it's gonna come to me. Excuse me. It was I got guitar in my head. Syriana, I think it was, where they actually kind of explain the whole process from beginning to end of how they were able to manipulate these Middle Eastern people to get them to hate, to get them to, they use their religion. They did everything they can to start these bombings. And this, it was explained. Another movie that I've brought up in the past was Charlie Wilson's War. Charlie Wilson's War with, who was in that? Tom Cruise, Julie Roberts, I think, of course. How the Taliban was actually started, right? They were these Middle Eastern people were fighting against the Russians. Charlie Wilson needed some publicity. He got them some surface-to-air missiles, handheld bazookas or whatever. And then they supposedly won, or they won most of the battles. They were able to use the media to show a win. But then as soon as Charlie Wilson won his election, he disregarded them. He used them, in a sense. And Saudi Arabia knows this. A lot of Middle Eastern countries are aware of this. They know this now. They're paying attention. So what Trump does is he goes in and he says, enough of this shit. We need a clear playing field for everybody. And we need to get all this shit out in the open. This is going to stop. And I hear people talking about, well, Saudi Arabia financed 9/11. Well, if you know what the fuck happened at 9/11, if you really know Tulsi Gabbard, Building 7 was a demolition that came down at 5:20 p.m. on 9/11/2001, all by itself, about a half a mile away. Nobody talks about that. Nobody wants to know about that. Why? Because we know it was an inside fucking job. We know. Rethink911.org will take you to the architect's site. It's a long website name. Anyway, I don't know what's going on behind me. I think it's a commercial. But the end game is, and this is tough for people, it still is, but this guy's in the way. The end game is to depopulate at least 2/3 of the planet's population. This is the end game, and hoard the rest for themselves. Why do you think Fluvid-19 was created? So to get you to take something that basically destroys, annihilates your immune system, depending on how much you take and how many times you take it, if you actually took it. It's theirs. I mean, look up where it's at right now. It's like 400K, right? People. Boop, boop. and it's worse because there are a lot of people that were taking this thing that are still taking it are having problems. Here's part having problems with fertilization, having problems with their ovaries, having a problem with their periods, all kinds of things. I mean, Corey, what's that? JFK has talked about it. Excuse me, RFK has talked about it. RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has talked about it. A lot of people. Dr. Pierre Corey, I think his name is. Pierre Corey, I think his name is. You guys should look that up. And a guy I've had on here was Andrew Kaufman. You know, none of this stuff was ever isolated when it came out, and most of it had already been made years ago, sometimes decades ago. There's like 7 different strands of a flu out there. There's probably dozens more. You know, and most of this stuff is released. Most of this stuff is found. Most of this stuff is instigated and created just for that purpose, their end game. And I try to tell people this is what they're on an accelerated journey to do this. And she may not even see that. You know, this girl here may not even see the actual end game. She may not even understand that part. She understands basically the surface stuff, and just below the surface where you could see just far enough down to kind of see what's going on and what the players are kind of doing in real time in front of you. But what I get to is the abyss. I get to the abyss. I go down into the abyss. It's hard. You know, I look, I can swim a back and halfway back an Olympic pool at my age, 61, underneath the water. I know, it's just because I know how to do these breathing techniques that I learned when I used to surf North Shore in Hawaii and some places in Kauai. You've got to be able to, and I swam with the swim team and the diving team and all these guys that could hold their breath for like 4 minutes. Crazy. I got up to about 3 minutes that I could hold my breath. It was nuts. But what I'm saying is they just don't need, they don't want you anymore. You're in the way. They don't need your likes. They don't need your money. They don't need they're needing it now, but I'm talking more so in the past year and a half. But now they're getting cut off. USAID, they're getting cut off. And we need to make sure, right? And it's going to happen. They just are building the cases that they connect the receipts, the data, the documents, the videos, the paperwork to the people and for the fraud that's been going on for a long time to actual people. And if they're still alive, charge them. And if that system is still available to them, of course, get rid of it. But the waste, fraud, and abuse that Doge has been finding is just nuts. And it's going to take time. I tell people it's going to take time. I haven't heard of Cheryl. Are you still coming out? It's going to take time for people to do these, to get these charges, their cases together. You have to make sure this stuff is solid, right? To get after these people. And that's what they're doing. It just takes time. And everybody wants like instant TikTok like action, in a 15-second video. But this is a much more complex of what has happened, what they've been doing, how they've been doing it, how they've been doing it to us. And it's time. It's definitely time that we let Trump do his thing. Now, the Supreme Court recently, in regards to deportation, wants to give these people more time. And I don't think that's a good idea. It's just not a good idea, man. I put in... I'm kind of changing subjects. I'm going all over. But I got to say, check those girls out. They're really good. Remember, the end game is depopulate 2/3 of the planet and hoard the rest for themselves. That's getting ruined. That's getting disrupted by Trump, and they don't like it, right? And Trump's disrupting a lot of these cash flows. He's redirecting it towards us. And here's the thing: are we going to see it in our taxes? Are we going to see it in our pocketbooks? Are we going to see it soon? Where, look, eggs have gone down dramatically. That's for sure. They were like $5.49 for eggs about 3 months ago. Now Aldi's is $3.47. So it's better. It's not great. It's better. I love the hat, and I wish I would have grabbed it when I left West Virginia. Is make bacon 99 cents again, right? Because I used to be able to get bacon at $1.99, right? You remember? But I just know that he's trying. He gets it. And these girls and Prometheus that are watching this, right? They're trying to explain to everybody, what he's doing, what his motivation is, why he's doing it. I get it. That's important. But we need to know is what the oligarchs are really doing. And that's where I come in. And this is hard for people to take in. It's extremely hard for people to take in the fact that there are a handful of people out there that want to use climate change to get rid of you. That one of you want to use the common flu to get rid of you. That want to use war to get rid of you. That want to use divide and conquer to get rid of you. That want more conflict, that need more division. They want to use the food you eat to get rid of you. They want to use the water you eat to get rid of you. That's it. The more and more time goes by, and I've been saying this for, 3 or 4 years now, 4 years at least, that it's coming to fruition. We're seeing the evidence unfolding as time is moving on. That what I'm saying is that there's a handful of people trying to depopulate the world so they can hoard it all for themselves is fucking really happening. And if that doesn't alarm you, and if you think it's just it's this conspiracy theory, blah 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 blah, a term the CIA made up so people wouldn't think it's serious. It's fucking serious. It's just, I don't know what to fucking say. I do know what to say, but I'm just saying I'm going to keep saying it until some people actually kind of get it. Now here's the good news. Here's the good news. Trump gets it. They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. And he's trying. And some people get it. I have 2 friends that have been to Mar-a-Lago a few times, I believe, and they've actually spoken and talked to Trump and stuff like that. And then there's people that I know that are on YouTube that have spoken to him, and of course Bill Maher went to go meet Trump, and he seems like and Trump goes, and Bill Maher's like, fucking just stand-up guy. And the picture they paint about of an American like that, it's crazy. Of course they're gonna try to take him down. I'm telling you why. They're trying to take him down. Is my chat working? There's nobody's chatting anymore. All right, Cheryl, if you're not going to come on, or if you don't want to come on, let me know. I didn't know if you want me to send the link. You usually say send the link. You said I'll be on soon making my smoothies for work tomorrow. Smoothies are good. I'm not seeing any more things in here, but people, okay. What the hell is playing behind me? Who knows? Let me jump over to something else here, because I got a little something else I want to show you. Is that it? Can you see it? Oh, here it is. Right here. This happened on May 16th for, several hours, like 20 hours or something like that. If you can see this, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see, this is Mauna Loa. This is the big island of Hawaii. And this thing just decided to go off. Just decided to freaking go off. Now, in context, I want you to realize the size of that. I don't know if you can see my pointer. That fountain shot up to 1,000 feet. That's like taking the aircraft carrier that I was on from horizontal to vertical. That's 1,000. Oh my God, that's 100. That's 100 fucking stories. That's the Empire State Building size, and there's several of them. I mean, this is gigantic. It's huge. Imagine seeing that. It's beautiful. It's the power, the beauty. Look, I want this. What a God, man. It's beautiful. It's just fucking beautiful. I mean, I could show you the waves. Hawaii's just gorgeous. I'm so thankful that when I was raised, I'm part Hawaiian. I was able to surf and see these things. I've been to here. I've seen a small fountain when I was there. I've been to the Big Island twice. I've been to Maui 3 or 4 times. I've been to Kauai 2 or 3 times. I've been to Oahu, I don't know, 10 times, maybe more. But there's so much that this country has to offer, and from Hawaii to Maine to Florida to Alaska, from California to sea to signing sea. Chat works, enlisting while getting some work done. Okay, Alistair, cool, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to another topic here I think is important. Give me just un momento, por favor. I talked about what is it? I already did that. Let me get out of that. Yeah, man, that sucks. Theo Vaughn, dude, you gotta. I swear to gosh, bro. Great stuff. It's funny. It's just watching you from 50 yards away is just retarded. Trump's all out. Okay, get out of that. Get out of that. What is your? Oh crap! Hang on. I gotta just give me a second. History. I think I'm gonna copy link address. I might have some other people on. Where is it? Come on the Facebook. Let's go here. Alright, make sure I get this thing centered so I can show you what the heck is going on in the world. Here's my Facebook. Just letting you know. I think I just make it like this big here. I should be able to get all the stuff I need on there. Alright. So the machine against the machine guns. That's weird because it's okay for our government, the legislators, the judiciaries, executives to be protected by semi-automatic lasers, tasers, whatever, but not us. Trump just made machine guns legal again. Thank God. I can't wait to start shooting that shit. And this is kind of interesting. Where is it? Right here. There's this IFL Science is a interesting. That's too big. I gotta make it a little smaller so I can get. Yeah, still too big. They're still pushing the poison. I mean, I'm just trying to. And it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. No matter what, they're mad us looking towards being more Amish type eaters, real carnivores, real food eaters, and it's just driving them crazy. Sucks for them. Wait a second, that's not the right place. Oh crap! Wait, what just happened? Lordy, hang on. There we go. Okay, nope. What just happened? What's wrong with the veganism? No, that's fine. That you can be a vegan or whatever you want to do. Look. At work, we all shared a bunch of prime rib. Not prime. It was top sirloin something. Trying to remember what it was. It was prime rib. And I'm telling you, it was fucking delicious. That's all I have to say. It's just, I'm a fucking carnivore, so that's all I'm saying. All right. What the hell happened to my picture? Uh-oh. Something weird's going on. Let me fix it. Sorry about that. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Oh, there it is. Okay. That was good. I finally got it. I was trying to make it so you could see the whole thing. Yeah, organic's fine. Whatever you want to. I mean, it's a free country. Eat what you want to eat, man. It's okay. It's all good. Grass fed for sure. Can of man. All right, I'm hearing you, bro. Just let me try to get out what's going on here. We got. Yeah, so right here I write your inability to grasp science is not a valid argument against it. I'm like, okay. The Flexner report changed medicine and science and turned it into an atheism. Not atheism. I said that through my phone. I was just trying to get the word out. And an ideology and destroyed thousands of years of trial and error, which is still the greatest scientific procedure of identifying a cause and an effect to produce a result or a conclusion unequivocally. Trial and error. That's where holistic, real medicines came from. Natural medicines. It's just trial and error. Oh, you know what? Hey, Mikey, try this. He lived. Good. We can keep using it. He died. Not good. And that's basically what happened probably maybe hundreds of thousands of years ago. Who knew fucking how long? You got to read this thread and everybody's response clarifying the indications. So we got to read this thread. It's fucking, let me just see if I can get to it. Hang on. Where's the thread? Oh, dang it. Where's the actual thread on it? Yeah, everybody's along with me on this. All right, so that's basically that. And I can't get back to the thread, which I think is fucking crazy. Here's interesting. So KITV, which is Hawaii's news, and they're really bummed out that it says Big Island farmers are grieving over the deportation of members of their companies. Members of their company. They call them members. But the last I heard, by the way, slave labor is a felony in the United States. There are a few parts that are completely wrong with this immigrant worker thing. They call it the immigrant workers system. Trafficking, tax evasion, slave labor, health care we pay for. It's just, what? I just don't get it. I don't get why. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And then, like I said, the poison back system. FDA moves to ban fluoride supplements for kids, removing a key tool for dentists. This is good. This is the reason I'm going to bring this up, because it is a tool for dentists. at the bottom. Breaking news: a Mexican Navy ship crashed into New York Brooklyn Bridge. Did that really happen? I'm pretty sure it did happen. I'll check it out. Thank you, Cheryl. But this is interesting here because the reason why I'm going to say this is interesting here because they're actually telling you what's bumming them out. And this is NPR, which thankfully we don't fund, and PBS, which we should never fund anymore. That's just crazy that we were. Because it makes it biased, especially if it comes from a particular party. It's just ridiculous. Hey, Cannon Man. Bye. That's it. Okay, aloha. Thank you for stopping by. The agency is taking steps to remove prescription fluoride treatments that children swallow. But it's a key tool for dentists. And they're showing a picture of a kid's mouth. All right? Old teeth coming out, new teeth coming in. But listen to the NPR.org, how they kind of reveal the tool that they use to keep you to come back. That's it. Without fluoride in the water, without fluoride in your toothpaste, without fluoride that you're getting from fucking almost everything these days, they don't have a business. They really don't, because that's the shit that's destroying you. Not only your teeth and your bones, it's terrible in your brain. It doesn't help you. It's just a lot of shit wrong with it. And it needs to be removed. Alistair, seems like the master of the ship were knocked over a bit, but the bridge appears to be fine and the ship didn't work. Oh, okay. You know, let me look at it real quick. Let me check it out, man. Let's check it out real quick. Navy ship hits bridge. Boston. Right? Check it out. Mexican ship hits Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, shit. That's fucking fucked up, man. What the fuck? Okay. Wonder why. There might be more going on with that than we know of. Oh, they're going to show. Here it is, right here. All right, I got it. Just a second. This over here. Oh, look at that. They're fucking going backwards. Who's the idiot? Oh my God. That is just idiotic. Look at the mainsails just snapped. Holy bejesus. That's just fucking stupid. Here it is. They're showing it again. I don't have the sound on. I don't need to have the sound on, but why not? I'll just play it just because.
Times. According to the New York Times, the NYPD says, New York police says that there were 277 people on board, the fire department said, and 3 critically injured, 3 people in critical condition, and another 17 in serious condition. Oh, hold on a second here. Hang on one moment. So 3 people in critical condition and another 17 people, another 17 in serious condition.
Yeah, that looks like somebody just had too many fucking margaritas. That's what that looks like, man. That looks like too many margaritas. That's fucking crazy. I've been on one of those boats. I've been on big sloops. In Hawaii, I used to do a lot of sailing on a Prindle, 18-foot Prindle, with a buddy of mine, and on a 18-foot Hobie Cat. I've been out on some Morgans. Those are good. In Huntington Harbor, where I used to basically from, lots of yachts and little boats and shit like the Boston Whalers and all kinds of different boats. I've been on all kinds of boats. And there's a lot of errors that happen. I'm just saying. It's just, there's drinking. When you're on a boat, for some reason, it's like, let's start drinking. That's just the way it is. That's like the first thing you want to do. If you're not getting seasick, you're getting fucking drunk sick. I'm just telling you. It's just the way it works. And I think whoever was doing that was on some serious drug, or just was pissed off at somebody, or because it doesn't. I mean, there were 300 people on the ship, and there were like 12 or something injured. That's not good. I hope those people are okay, and everybody's fine. But there's some lawsuit for sure, and they got coverage for that. All right, so I'm moving on here. That's just fucking retarded. All right, what does the human heart look like after multiple? Yeah, this is good. I'm going to just tell you right now. Just be prepared for this.
Individuals, they find it for the first time. 5 times boosted individuals, they find it for the first time. We think this is because actually the mRNA gets into the heart, and your heart starts to produce spike protein. And these, you see these scarring spots on there, that's probably where the spike protein was produced. The body attacked it, inflamed it, and it got scarred. It scarred up, and that's what happens when it gets inflamed. And so it's an autoimmune response. And then they're left with this, and they get electrical conduction abnormalities in the heart, and that leads to these lethal arrhythmias, this ventricular tachycardia, and eventually sudden death. And so this is just proof in the cake that, look in people's hearts. This is what it does. It's dangerous, it's cardiotoxic, and they've got to get off the market.
Yeah, I've got, there's this one lady, did I post that? Fuck, let me just see if I posted it, because I'm just like, you should be dead by now. But anyway, there's this, let me see if I got it. Here, right there, right here. Right here. I posted something about the shots, and I said, okay, be sure to also get your booster, especially the 100 people. I see right here. And this lady, Judithin, I am 76 and had 12 COVID boosters. 12. Still walk around. I had no heart attack in 2019. I had a heart attack 20 before. I have kidneys and they said the vaccine still alive. So I just quit spewing the bullshit. That's crazy. First of all, I want to see the receipts. Just because she said it doesn't mean it happens. Judith, can you show me? You can easily get that printed out, right? You could easily, LOL, nuts. It's just nuts. For what? That's just nuts. 12. Fuck. But I've said the amount of the doses, the percentage of the dose of the mRNA, it just doesn't seem like it's as high as it was before. There's more to this. I'd like to see it. That's just fucking crazy. Why would you get something that doesn't stop the transmission? Why would you get something that doesn't do shit? It doesn't do anything. It does nothing. It's just fucking crazy to me. Is it crazy to you like it is to me? It's fucking crazy. This is it's crazy. Now let's go back here. There's some more stuff too. Let me see. Yeah, and they're all talking about Trump getting a fucking plane. Let me see. What was this one about? Yeah, so this came up because a lot of people are kind of concerned with this. And this is about if you're here just like you would be as a tourist, we get it. You're not going to understand the language that much. Maybe you're from Brazil, maybe you're from fucking Germany, maybe you're from wherever, right? And you don't really speak our language or understand the signs or read it very well and all this other stuff. And we get it. You move around, have fun, enjoy Hawaii, enjoy the Missouri River, enjoy fishing, enjoy Alaska, enjoy, Florida, enjoy, New York, Chicago, LA, Texas, whatever, and have fun. But there are some people out there that I know of and that I've dealt with them before. They're smart. They've got their CDLs or their licenses to drive 80,000-pound vehicles. These trucks, okay? These giant trucks. And this was put up. Imagine losing your job. This is Trucker Gore. Imagine losing your job because you can't speak good English. That's what's happening to truckers during random Department of Transportation inspections. They're being pulled over, forced to read, write, and speak English on the spot. If they fail, fine, shut down, fired. Doesn't matter how long you have been driving if you fail the English test. Now, I get it. I get the argument on both sides. I totally understand. But the thing that kind of gets me here, and I've got to say it, and I'm going to say it, is I fully agree with making sure that whoever's operating an 80,000-pound vehicle can communicate and translate English and understand English in the United States good enough to operate an 80,000-pound vehicle moving at 65 miles an hour, 70 miles per hour. Myself, family, and friends are you're dumb shit. Okay, so what I'm saying is I understand the concern of the Department of Transportation. I understand that. If they've been operating for a long time, and if they have no violations, or if they're driving well, right? It's just all you have to do is look at their record. Then I think you should give them a pass. Of course, I just don't. It just seems a little excessive, but at the same time, I understand. Something moving at 65 miles an hour that can plow through several houses needs to be scrutinized. And I want to make sure, because there are some people that I know, when I was doing security for for the Dollar Tree around the corner, the giant warehouse, couldn't understand a lick of English, couldn't understand anything, just got their license, told them, well, their paperwork isn't properly done yet, they need to turn around. And they took them like a half hour to fucking turn around their truck. Now, if that's the case, I'm concerned. Because that same fucking dude's on the road with that giant truck. Check the records. How long have they been? I want to know what's going on. And they need to be able to read the signs. They need to, somebody operate. Look, if you're operating a fucking rental car, if you're operating a whatever, car's a car, they all hurt stuff, but this is a giant piece of machinery, so we got to be careful. I get it. I just think they should do the searches, see how long they've had their license, make sure they don't have any violations, traffic, with or without a truck, right? And if they're operating fine, let them keep operating. And they're American citizens. If they're illegal immigrants, bye-bye. That's it. That's it. All right. I'm going to switch over to this because this is interesting to me. I think it's important that we know, and okay, let me go back on this. Julian Assange made a deal with the devil, in my opinion, when they were able to give him extradition or let him get out of prison. He was quiet, and he's been quiet for a long time. Once Trump came in the office, I guess he's waited, contemplated, was trying to figure out what was going on. And then somebody probably said, dude, where's all your stuff? Where's all the stuff you usually reveal? There's nothing on WikiLeaks. It's still shut down. So I think the deal with him, letting him go with the Biden administration at that time, and this is just a theory, a perspective. YouTube, by the way, most of the shit I say is theories, perspectives, conclusions that I come up with. It's mana, meaning power, talking, just using my voice. I think that was the deal. You have to do nothing when you get out. You can't say anything. You can't do anything. You can report the weather, or you can report, gardening. But you can't fucking talk about the oligarchs. You can't talk about the deep state. You can't talk about the Democrats or Republicans. You can't talk about any of that. But I think Trump wants to know what this guy has. And I know he's got something. Because we all know Seth Rich didn't kill himself, or was in this debacle. Supposedly Seth Rich was killed by somebody who was mugging him, but didn't take his really expensive watch or his money. That's just really strange. I forgot the name. Lucas something. He's the guy who served the subpoena to Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. He got canned too. And then the body bags, right? Oh, that reminds me. Anyway, let's see what transpires with this, because I'm very interested on what this conversation. I don't think we're going to see the conversation. If you're ever talking to Julian Assange for the first time, you probably don't want it televised. But unfortunately, Trump might want it televised. It's just the guy. He likes to be in front of the camera. He's not great at it, but he likes to be in front of the camera. I think the best course of action with Julian Assange is get Tulsi in there. Not Mark. I don't even know why you fucking have Marco Rubio, honestly. Pete Hegseth in there. I want to see Robert F. Kennedy in that room too. I'd like to see more of Matt Gaetz, by the way. Where the fuck is... I want Matt Gaetz to be somewhere in the cabinet. Sit down. Just hear the guy out. See what he has to say. And go from there. Julian Assange is reportedly seeking a meeting with President Trump to expose further corruption among Democrat elites in Congress and both the Obama and Biden administrations. Should Trump grant this meeting? Absolutely. Absolutely. Miller Joy, breaking news. Yeah, this was a few days ago. But I would like to see it happen. I would really like to see that happen. And hopefully, if we don't hear anything about it, then that's going to bum me out. And it's also going to make me a little... I'm always got to be suspicious. Be suspicious. Be suspicious. You got to be suspicious. So we got to make sure. And all these guys are worried about these airplanes, right? Oh no, Trump has got these airplanes. Al thinks his tail for Qatar wants to give the United States a luxury jumbo jet, the same Al Gore who accepted the Gulfstream from the Sultans of Kuwait. Yeah, he accepted a Gulfstream private jet from them, by the way. Just letting you know. There was somebody else that also did the same thing. I don't know if I have it up here. I think we... Yeah, you know what? Let me play that, only because... Alright. I'm going back in here. Because... Is this my history? It's my history, right? No, yeah. My history... Oh my god, now it's running fucking slower than shit. Alright, Maha Institute had a big old meeting. I wanted to show it. Play it for 4 minutes and 29 seconds. Wow, it's just taking forever. What the fuck? I got too much stuff going on right now. I think that's what's going on. Tomas.
Moms across America, and our
I'm really excited to introduce Zen Honeycutt, founder and executive director of Moms Across America.
I just can't even hear this. I turned it up all the way, people.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Zen Honeycutt of Moms Across America, and our mission is to educate and empower mothers and others with actions and solutions to create healthy communities. We are a national coalition of unstoppable moms, and this is a historic moment. We mothers are in Moms Across America are primarily mothers of children with autism, autoimmune issues, asthma, life-threatening allergies, learning and behavioral disorders. And we have been called emotional, we've been silenced, we've been vilified, and this is all because, the pushback is all because the government of previous administrations has been hiding critical information that we could use to protect our children and to have our families be healthier again. We have been deeply betrayed by previous administrations. We've also been focusing on GMOs, the hiding of GMOs, glyphosate toxins in the food and in vaccines. But finally, we have an administration that is listening to, shining the truth on, and taking actions on the critical requests of American mothers to protect our children. As a former lifelong Democrat, come independent, who voted Republican, I am very proud of this current administration and what is happening in America today. Finally, there's an investigation on the cause of autism. Operation Stork Speed is exposing and focusing on baby...
What's he call it? Operation Stork Speed. Get it? Stork carrying the... Anyway.
Formula. Moms Across America submitted heavy metal information about baby formula, and within weeks, after a year of previously submitting it to the previous administration, within weeks, this administration came out with Operation Stork Speed to make baby formula safer, more reliable, and more nutrient dense. They're removing food dyes, which is historic. They're looking at glyphosate in vaccines after 9 years of submitting that information to our CDC and FDA. They're looking at the COVID-19 vaccines right now and taking comments on that, on the ingredients. Keep in mind, media, we are at a critical point in history. You can expect Big Pharma and Big Ag to push back, create lies, character assassination. And I'm going to ask you, media, which side will you be on? Will you be reporting the truth, or will you be perpetuating the corruption? We mothers are calling on every Republican and Democrat to make America healthy again and to stop...
Good luck with those Democrats. That's not going to fucking happen. They're part of the end game. That's all I have to say. The depopulation end game.
Accepting the pressure from the corporations. We're calling for a ban of 85 pesticides that have already been banned in other countries. We are eating poison that other countries have rejected. Over 70% of these pesticides cause reproductive damage, and we have a reproductive crisis in our country today. Yep. Do we want the American population to be able to procreate or not? That is the question. I
answered that. Like I said, their end game is to depopulate the world by 2/3 and hoard the rest for themselves. It's easier to control 2.5 to 3 billion people than it is to control 8 billion people. And that's their goal. And they're doing a pretty good job, because about 60% of the planet took the mRNA, quote-unquote, vaccine.
We are able to confidently call for this ban because we have faith in the ingenuity of the farmers who are here today and will be talking at the round table. with the solutions. We know how to make America healthy again, and it starts with our ingenious farmers. And we are thrilled to be a part of the MAHA Commission to make America healthy again, to work or to collaborate with the MAHA Commission. And I want to mention, of course, please go to and find out more about Moms Across America, MAHA Action, Children's Health Defense, Global Wellness Forum, Stand for Health Freedom, and the many different organizations of mothers and others who have been working tirelessly for dedications just to have the future of our children and your children be something where they can live out their fullest potential. And that would, of course, make America great again. Thank you very much.
Well, she's cute and she's making all the right points. I just got to say, besides Prometheus and the gals there and a bunch of other people that just seem sane compared to all this other crazy shit that's out there that I played. I mean, the trans day at DC was just, and I played that in the beginning. I'm just like, okay, so what's important here? Right? I mean,
this is the Tesla protest in New York City. What's everyone doing here?
Protesting Elon Musk.
What is it? Because like there's new features in the car they don't like, or what's the? What do you have against electric cars?
He smells like alcohol.
No, you're stopping people buying electric cars right now.
Protesting you because you're doing this for ego as opposed to for America, and that sucks.
Do you like that his factory is in America?
Do you like that you're a prick?
Do you believe in tax credits for electric vehicles?
You! You! You!
What Lionel's doing there really is great because what it does is it shows you these people don't know what they're talking about.
It's not that they don't know what they're talking about, Ruben. They're just fucking crazy. You know, I'm okay with crazy in bed or, you know, in the octagon, you know, or at the WWEF or WWF or whatever, WWE, wrestling, whatever. That's actually controlled chaos. It's the greatest form of controlled chaos, honestly. But I'm just saying, like, here's another good one right here.
They refer to this whole operation as the Great Reset. And so I'm also someone who studies law as well as finance, and I happen to have Black's Law Dictionary in my library. So I looked up, and someone suggested this to me, so it wasn't just my idea, but I looked up the word reset, and it describes a theft, a transfer of ownership against property owners' rights. So in other words, if the plan is that you'll own nothing and rent everything, then that means that everything you own now will have to be transferred to someone else's ownership. And since reset means a great theft, essentially somebody is going to steal everything that we own. And that's what the reset is about, and that's why we're going to have to rent it. And that might be what we agree to cancel all our debt. They refer to...
Do you hear the end part? That's what we might agree to cancel our debt. That's the goal. They're going to try to get you in some way. But here's the thing. I had Andy Kaufman on here. This is a doctor. He's a great doctor. He's a holistic medicine type doctor. He's a licensed practicing doctor. And we had a great conversation. If you want to see it, the links in the comments below for Odyssey, because they removed it from this channel, because we were just talking about Big Pharma. We were just talking about Big Pharma and their influence over doctors and how they're anyway. I recommend that you go see that. I think it's important for all of us to know and learn. Let me go back. What's the next one? What the hell is that?
Should these radios be made illegal? Imagine having walkie-talkie.
All right. There's just so much. Did it erupt again? No, it didn't erupt again. Did it erupt again? That's Mount Etna, Europe. Eruption. Mount Etna? Isn't that Seattle? Hang on a second. How do I know where Mount Etna is? That's in Italy. I'm way off. Seattle. Okay. Yeah, lots of activity. The Earth is always moving and growing. Take care of her, people. I'm telling you. I think we're good for tonight. I didn't know if you wanted to come on. Honestly, Cheryl, you didn't say. You usually say send me the link, but you didn't say it. Bruce Springsteen's still the boss. No, he's a weirdo. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll through here real quick. Yeah, there it is. Oh, there's another. Wait, hold on. What an idiot. That fucking is stupid, man. Uh-oh. Look at all those people out there. You can see the people in the front. Like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, they're so lucky. Most of those booms and mainsails and everything is all fucking tied to some sheet or rope. That's just fucking stupid. That's just fucking stupid. Oh, you know what they're going to do, though? I'll tell you what they're going to do right now. They're going to blame Trump. For sure. They're going to blame Trump. That was Trump's fault. Somewhere, somehow, somebody is going to blame Donald Trump for that. I'm just telling you. Fucking stupid. Anyway, I want to say thank you for being here. This is James with Monotalk. I sent some requests. Let me see if they got those. But anyway, aloha. Thank you. Aloha, aloha, aloha. For being here at Monotalk. Take care. Aloha.